Okay, so the Godzilla Monsterverse is kind of confusing because some stuff dates back like 200 million years ago, and then some stuff's like 50 years ago. It's very confusing sometimes where everything is. Like, how old is Godzilla? How old is Rodan? When did he meet Mothra? So subscribe to this amazing channel for teaching us this beautiful knowledge, and let's go find out what the hell's going on. All right.
252,902,000
That's a ridiculously big number.
Permian-Triassic extinction event.
What?
Godzilla is present at the impact site of an enormous meteorite, which wiped out 90% of all life.
Godzilla was
Godzilla
there, dude.
and other titans enter hibernation for millions of years,
Oh.
only waking occasionally throughout history. 200 million BC. Cave paintings of titans.
What? 200 million BC? There's cave paintings of Titans? That's insane, dude.
50,000 BC.
What? That's how old that crap is?
The Kingdom of Atlantis was established. 30,000 BC. One of the ancient era's alpha predators, the creature mankind will one day know as Godzilla, makes its presence known in the region that will one day become France. Its visage painted onto the walls of the Chauvet Cave by primitive man. 12,000 BC. Mothra egg.
Okay.
The humans living around China during this time come into contact with Mothra for the very first time. 11,000 BC. MUTO Prime encounters Dagon.
I'm being so overwhelmed with information. For one, is it Dagon or Dagon? Because I say things wrong and I've been saying Dagon for years. That's so embarrassing. Also, holy crap. I need to go back and rewatch this video like 15 times after, but let's just get into it.
A colony of Phoenician travelers witness a battle between two
That's crazy. This was 11,000 years ago. MUTO Prime.
Known as Jinsen Mushi, referred to by the civilization as an unclean thing. And
Unclean
Godzilla,
thing?
dubbed Dagon, and believed to be the holy son of the goddess Ashera.
I thought Jinshin Mushi was the Titan beetle, or is that the unclean thing? That's hella insulting, bro. Bro,
Between
stinks.
1000 and 500 BC, ancient Greece. Titanus Typhon and Titanicilla appear in Greek myths.
What the hell? Holy, look at that monstrosity.
0 to 500 AD, pre-Columbian South America. Titanus behemoth origin.
This is the first thing that's made sense to me the whole day.
Refers to an ape sloth Bigfoot-like cryptid
Holy
in South
hell.
American folklore.
Look at that thing.
Mammoth fur. Behemoth resembles this, but with tusks and without the one eye or second mouth on his stomach.
It's like Goroth.
that Mapinguari has.
Yeah, that's way worse,
strongly
man.
Implied that sightings of the Mapinguari in South America are sightings of behemoth.
It is beautiful how they have the same hands and stuff, though. There's like details, and the rest is just overly exaggerated from ancient myth.
Which is why the locals call him Mapinguari.
Mapinguari.
1100 AD. A surviving Godzilla, the last of its kind, is witnessed in ancient Japan.
That's
and his
crazy.
massive form is depicted on a choji-gira, or a scroll of frolicking animals created in the 12th century.
Damn it, I need to reread the comics. This is so in the comics.
To 1500 AD. According to legend, Methuselah destroyed a village in Munich, then settled down to sleep on its wreckage.
I've been saying Methuselah for so long. That's horrible. I'm just happy this thing finally destroyed a village. I assume that's where it just like planted its butt and then never moved again, though. He never does anything.
Where a forest grew on him, and he was assumed to be a mountain.
Yeah, he never moved again. Lazy bastard.
1502 AD. Godzilla makes a brief return to the surface, traveling through Europe and inspiring an artistic representation of his distinctive silhouette in a hopper etching created in Augsburg, Germany.
Take that, Europe.
1802. First sightings of the Loch Ness Monster in Scotland.
You know what's horrible is this turned out to be like a whale and we're just looking at it right now.
It later came to be dubbed Titanus Leviathan by Monarch.
Is this all canonically accurate? Because that's insane.
Einstein formulates his general theory of relativity. This discovery will
smell
ultimately
Doritos.
give rise to the splitting of the atom and the harnessing of nuclear energy as a weapon by mankind. Early 1930s,
He has become
the Wanderer,
death.
a 19th century freighter, becomes shipwrecked on Skull Island. A
Yes.
temple to Koong,
Now
within
we're
which
getting
the
into
story
stuff
of the
I know.
Skull Crawlers and Kong's war against them is preserved on painted rock faces, is constructed within its fractured hull, becoming a sacred place to the island's native Iwi people.
The wee-wees.
1941, December 7th. Japan launches a surprise attack on the U.S. naval base at Pearl Harbor, subsequently declaring war on the United States and Great Britain, drawing both nations into the Second World War. 1943.
What's that got to do with
the
Godzilla?
USS
I guess it's just like all
incident.
together.
The naval
Yeah,
steamer
dude.
USS
Whoa.
Lawton comes under attack from an unknown force. The ship is clawed as if by a wild animal, quickly sinking and leaving only one survivor, future Monarch operative Bill Randa. The incident is quickly covered up by the US government.
Imagine walking away from something like that. You'd end up as crazy as him. Dude's crazy as hell.
Skull Island welcomes two outsiders.
It's weird it doesn't
During
look like a
World War
skull
II,
anymore. Oh, it does if he
US
zooms
pilot
out.
Hank Marlowe and Japanese pilot Gunpei Ikare engage in aerial combat and crash land on Skull Island as a result. The two soldiers fight throughout the unknown terrain and are only stopped when they meet Koong for the first time.
Okay, hear me out. We got like a 12-episode sitcom of just those two having buddy day-to-day lifestyle while living on Skull Island together, like long before he dies. I'd watch the hell out of that.
Amazed at what they see, the two former enemies learn to become friends as they try to stay alive in the strange land. 1945,
Buddy sitcom.
between January and August. Ishiro Serizawa, son of future Monarch
Killing off
operative
this guy was the biggest
E.G.
mistake in the
Serizawa,
entire
and a
franchise.
leading member of the organization of the 21st century, is born. August 6, Hiroshima bombing.
I thought someone
In the
called me gay
aftermath
for a
of the
second. I forgot
Hiroshima
that was the
bombing,
name of the plane.
Ishiro Serizawa and his father see a shinomura, who had been awakened by the radiation, with
Oh, hell
Godzilla
yeah.
following suit. Between August and December, E.G. Serizawa leaves his young son Ishiro with the infant's grandparents in Kyoto, seeking a job in the ruins of post-war Japan. He eventually joins the crew of a shipping vessel.
Shinomura needs so much more screen
1946,
time. That thing's
Formation
insane.
of Monarch. A series of mysterious disappearances of U.S. Navy vessels, all part of the Pacific Fleet, prompts the gathering of scientists and researchers on the part of the U.S. government. Among these men are E.G. Serizawa, Shaw, and a handful of both Japanese and American witnesses to the attack
Look
of the
at these
mysterious
strapping
monster.
lads.
It's this creature and others like it that are blamed for the various U.S. ship disappearances, and with proof of their existence now incontrovertible, U.S. President Harry Truman officially establishes the Monarch Unit, the first joint U.S.-Japanese unit since the end of World War II, to investigate and combat these giants.
What a cool thing to find
Shortly
out
after
Titans
the
are
foundation
killing
of Monarch,
stuff.
the flying creature, MUTO, appears over a power plant in Novosibirsk, Russia. Serizawa and Shaw are dispatched to interrogate witnesses. The flying monster, later designated as Shinomura for MUTO, returns a short time later, striking the Philippines. After its retreat, Monarch are able to collect what they believe is a severed limb from the monster.
That's so awesome if you know more
The
about
flying monster
Shinomura.
again makes landfall, this time in Busselton, Australia. Serizawa begins to wonder why the creature retreats from its attacks so quickly. 1948, Monarch Unit 5 investigates Carmichael Caves, Site 4807, a suspected burrow site for a MUTO. 1948, Shinomura vs. Godzilla. The flying monster is seen again, this time on Monster Island in the South Pacific. During interrogation, the natives claim a second monster arrived and chased the first one off, leaving giant footprints in the sand as evidence.
I feel like all the cool stuff happened in the 40s.
Shinomura appears again in Rotorua, New Zealand, where residents once again claim a giant lizard that stood up like a man chased the creature back into the skies.
Imagine giant man lizard.
1950,
What?
Shinomura continues fighting Godzilla. The island of Yap receives a visit from both the flying monster and the mysterious second creature. Serizawa becomes more and more fascinated by the second beast, while Shaw becomes dismissive of the notion of its existence. After the flying monster is yet again chased off by the second beast, this time in Guam, Serizawa interrogates a witness who identifies the large
Shinomura
monster
is
as
causing so much
Godzilla.
trouble.
1952. The Great Smog of London kills and injures several thousand people via air pollution.
Did that actually happen?
Monarch formulates the theory that the wings of a giant monster could have created an anticyclone which caused the event. 1952. Monarch
That
recruits
is
William
insane.
Randa. 9 years after surviving the USS Lawton incident, William Randa joins Monarch as assistant professor in cryptozoology.
Bro's got a wingspan.
He spends the next 30 years trying to prove that his freak encounter was the result of a titan.
I smelled a gust of
1953.
wind on me.
Shinomura cell discovered in the Philippines. Dr.
You only
Zamalek
need, like, a
reveals
cell
his
of it.
findings on the dismembered monster limb to Serizawa and Shaw, stating that the severed body part isn't a limb at all, but rather a single cell. Zamalek blasts the cell with a massive amount of radioactivity, increasing its size tenfold. Zamalek revels in the cell's power, stating that the flying monster is not, in fact, a single monster, but an aggregate creature, a colony of smaller, independent creatures moving and surviving as one.
I thought they should have figured this out when they got a limb of it.
All the superorganism needs to regrow its entire colony from a single cell is radiation. Stunned, Serizawa dubs the creature Shinomura, or Shinomura, literally meaning swarm of death.
Damn, what a
Monarch
cool nickname,
HQ
man.
is destroyed as a result of the regenerative process, which sets free the second version of Shinomura on the world.
Well, it's kind of what you get, you dingleberries.
1954, the 1st of March, Bikini Atoll bombing. Under the guise of a nuclear
We awoke
test,
something
Operation
big.
Lucky Dragon officially commences. At the Bikini Atoll, the Castle Bravo nuclear device is detonated in an attempt to kill Shinomura and Godzilla,
Oh, wow, it's way off.
successfully killing the former while failing to do so to the latter. March 7th, Monarch creates the MUTO
I thought it was a whole different nuke.
archive files, containing recorded data on various subjects and events. Survey H54 contains information on the subject of species 5146, aka Gojira.
Damn.
1959.
Godzilla's already been through so much, bro. He was alive 20 bajillion years ago.
A picture of an enormous containment facility around a Siberian ice cap.
Oh, dear.
With the Monarch logo on it. 1972. James
Wow,
Conrad
nothing happened in the
rescue mission.
60s.
Before he was recruited by Monarch, James Conrad performed a daring rescue in Da Nang the prior year. As an SAS tracker,
That's
he
so
was
cool. His,
responsible
like,
for
career's
rescuing
on this as
12
well.
pilots during the single mission.
What a good
Which
list.
is what helped further put his name on the map. 1973. Monarch's first
dear.
expedition of Skull Island. There, they encountered numerous deadly wildlife, none more so than the gigantic ape known as Koong, although Koong is not the only titan out there.
I feel like he
June
wasn't
12th,
the most deadly.
1981. Ishiro Serizawa
Wow, the
joins
70s
Monarch.
sucked.
Serizawa is recruited by Monarch after his father, E.G. Serizawa's funeral. He agrees to join the organization and later becomes a vital part of the rest of their work moving forward.
Good for him.
May 24th, 1989. Rick Stanton joins Monarch. After spending his time with Landsat,
I don't know
as
about
a
this guy. He
satellite
gives me the
mapping
heebie-jeebies.
technician, Rick Stanton is recruited by Monarch to supervise their own satellite tracking systems.
I feel like he's always sexualizing the kaiju.
1991. Titanus Rodan.
Ooh.
Monarch discovers a brand new Titan in Titanus Rodan, and they soon establish a quarantine
1200
zone
degrees
around
Celsius?
Isla de Mona's volcano, which is where Rodan lies in pyrostasis. The zone
That's
soon
hot.
expands to become one of Monarch's many containment facilities, later becoming known as Outpost 56.
I really didn't contain
And they watched
anything.
over the fire demon for the next 2+ decades.
Bro woke up with leisure.
1995. Aaron Brooks plans Antarctica trip. Over 20 years after his father, Houston Brooks, met Koong, Aaron Brooks plans an expedition to Antarctica. However, his true intention is going to Skull Island to see if the giant ape is actually still a friend to humanity.
It's a
August
good
7th,
question. I'd wonder
1995.
also.
Secret trip to Skull Island. In Monarch's second Skull Island expedition,
I swear there's
Aaron
always a
Brooks
woman
recruits
with
cast
that
of
haircut
characters
on the
to
mission.
join
My
him
voice
on
cracked.
this secret mission and proves to have familiar results. They crash land on Skull Island just like the previous group, but Koong saves most of them by killing the attacking death jackals.
The death
July
jackals.
17th, 1996.
That's when Koong kills like 50
Aaron
mother
Brooks
long
remains
legs
on
too.
Skull Island. Although the trip was only supposed to last 3
Oh,
days,
not yet.
Aaron Brooks and his team remained stranded on Skull Island for almost a year. Moreover, their attempts to leave resulted in major destruction of the local Iwi tribe. So Aaron decides to stay and help them rebuild. After documenting his experience with a voice recorder, he makes one
This is
final
when one of those
recording
dudes
and
goes
sets a
bananas,
bag
I
with
think.
them out to sea, hoping that his father will one day hear them. 1997.
I feel like he grazed over the whole
Ishiro
bananas
Serizawa
part.
meets Vivian Graham. Fully integrated into Monarch, Ishiro Serizawa recruits another major member to their future during a visit to Oxford University.
Graham
It's
crackers.
here that he meets Vivian Graham and begins to see her potential to help Monarch. January 10th, 1999. Vivian Graham
How long
joins
is this
Monarch,
song?
Nearly 2 years after first meeting Ishiro.
Dude, that's the chick that gets
Vivian
eaten
officially
by
joins
freaking.
Monarch, and she doesn't have
Kevin.
to wait long
Kevin.
to put her skills to good use.
She gets eaten by Kevin.
1999. Giant fossil discovered in Philippines.
Dang it.
Monarch discovers a giant animal
I got it right this
fossil
time.
that was killed by parasitic spores after over 40 years of finding a shinomura cell in the Philippines.
No more digging for
Vivian
this
Graham
guy.
is sent here on her first assignment to examine the fossil and spores. There was a single spore that was dormant.
It's crazy the MUTOs were siblings. Literally Sweet Home Alabama right in front of our eyes.
However, the second and male spore already hatched and
Get off your
quickly set its
sister!
course for the nearest source of radiation. 1999, Janjira incident.
Oh dear.
After the hatching of a male MUTO, a nuclear power plant is demolished by its frenzied feeding.
Walter White's
killing
wife
Sandra
exploded.
Brody. The MUTO
Walter White?
continues to absorb radioactive fuel for the next 15 years while cocooned in what is left of the power plant. Janjira is meanwhile established as a quarantine zone. 2005, Orca technology created. Orca is a revolutionary
This chick was
communication device
like
that has the
Lucifer
potential
with
to
that
speak
Orca.
to Titans. Emma and Mark Russell accidentally put themselves on Monarch's radar.
Chick is a
when they
super
tested out
villain,
the
bro.
Orca.
She released
The reading
monsters.
saw Monarch send Vivian Graham and Ishiro Serizawa to Boston under the belief that a new Titan was emerging. But, well, instead it was a piece of technology that could prove important to the Monsterverse's future. 2005. Alan Jonah is put on Monarch's radar.
Oh, this
Monarch
walking.
also learns of Alan Jonah in 2005 when he's caught attempting to infiltrate a MUTO dig site. May 4th, 2007. The Russells join Monarch officially.
Yeah, these
2
guys.
years after being introduced to Monarch,
This whole
Emma
family
and Mark
annoys
officially
me.
join the organization, who have high hopes for their Orca technology.
And their daughter, too.
May 10th, 2008. Eileen Chen joins Monarch. Monarch continues
A legacy.
adding to its staff with the hire of Eileen Chen, who is a third-generation Monarch operative. An expert mythologist, Chen will make a major discovery for Monarch in the near future. 2009, Mothra cocoon discovered. Monarch researchers find an enormous temple deep within China's Yunnan province, with a colossal cocoon inside.
What a come up, a giant
Monarch
kaiju
builds
egg?
another
What do you mean
containment facility
Kraken?
around Mothra, which becomes Monarch Outpost 61. Monitoring Mothra becomes Emma Russell's primary responsibility. June 24th, 2012.
I mean, she does monitor
Aaron
Mothra
Brooks
pretty well, I'll give her
recordings
that.
found. 16 years after letting it go, Aaron Brooks' bag full of recordings about his time on Skull Island
I would
is
have
found
farted in that bag
inside.
as well. Imagine opening that and getting
2013,
farted
Ford
decades
deployed
later.
overseas. Learning to move on from the death of his mother and believing his dad to be insane, Ford Brody joins the Navy. He's deployed for 14 months to serve as an explosive ordnance disposal (EOD) technician.
I didn't mind that
2014,
actor. He didn't talk the whole movie. It's my
Godzilla
favorite
versus
kind of
the
acting.
MUTOs. The secret existence of Giant Monster is unveiled as two MUTOs clash with Godzilla in San Francisco. 2014, Mark Russell leaves Monarch.
Best movie ever, in
the
my
wake of
opinion.
Godzilla truly showing
2014.
himself to the world, Monarch begins to rethink what Orca could be capable of. Mark Russell does not agree with the direction they intend to take the device and resigns from Monarch.
Dude goes and like
January
photographs
1st,
wolves.
2015.
What kind of weird crap is that?
Diane Foster joins Monarch.
That's cool.
A former Army Ranger, Monarch recruits Diane Foster to spearhead training of their operatives. She takes on only the best and brightest soldiers to form G-Team. February 3rd,
G-Team.
2015. Monarch expands military forces. With Foster leading the charge, Jackson Barnes, Anthony Martinez, and Lauren Griffin are soon hired to join G-Team. They each possess different skills that will make them useful to Foster in the team's
They all have such
daring
epic
missions to
names.
come.
Then you just get to Lauren.
May 11th,
She should have been
2015.
named Xena.
New era of Monarch begins. Monarch hires Sam Coleman to help usher in a new era for the organization. He's tasked with helping declassify
This little
Monarch's
twerp served his
documents
part well.
and
I
eventually
don't know what the
begins
part
new
was, but he did
initiatives
it
to
well.
further be transparent to the rest of the world. 2016, Ghidorah located in Antarctica. The latest major discovery for Monarch, they discovered the
I think all those
three-headed
theories about
Ghidorah
Shimo being the
frozen in
one that
Antarctica.
froze monsters
Vivian
here is
Graham
like
leads the building
crazy.
project to
A
create
big
another
fan.
containment facility around the biggest Titan they've ever documented. This facility later comes to be known as Outpost 32.
Trippy.
2019. All
Although I
events
knew that.
pertaining to Godzilla, King of the Monsters take place. King Ghidorah awakens and enslaves the Titans into decimating the Earth and its ecosystems. After a lengthy battle in Boston, he's defeated by
This
Godzilla.
was such a gnarly finish right there. What a sexy ending to a movie. Bravo.
Godzilla vs. Kong, the ultimate showdown.
Oh, is that where this video
that
ends?
brings us to the end of our timeline.
I'm gonna go back and look through this again. I'm gonna bust out this information and be the biggest freaking know-it-all. I can't wait. It's crazy how far back this goes, dude. Like, look at that number. That is a ridiculous number. I didn't even know humans existed back then. Would that mean these were like evolved apes watching Kong and Godzilla fight? Would that not make us more on Kong's side? I don't know. It's trippy. I need to figure out how old humans are. Freaking know how old Godzilla is. I don't even know how old humans are. But yes, this video was very informational and awesome. Leave a like, subscribe to this gentleman as well, and I'll see you next time.